guys, this is Mr. Lopez. I'm going to show you how to put your clarinet together today. So join me. First off, let's talk about your clarinet. This is the clarinet case. This is what it looks like. When you open it, or when you're setting up your instrument, you want to lay it down in your lap. So it's laying down in my lap right now. The case is a little dirty, but that's what it does. It keeps the instrument safe. So when you open it up, you're going to find a couple of different things. Let's talk about the different things. The first part is the bell. The bell looks like a bell, and it has the shape of a bell too. Right here, this is called the lower joint because it goes on the bottom part of the clarinet. I'm working from the bottom up, so it goes lower bell, lower joint. Then right here we have the upper joint, and the upper joint goes on towards the top. Your left hand goes on it. We have the barrel, looks like a barrel. And then we have the mouthpiece. This part is called the ligature. This holds the reed on. The reed is a piece of bamboo that goes on the flat side of the mouthpiece. There's a flat side and then a round side. The round side is where your teeth go on, and the flat side is where the reed goes on. And I'll show you guys how to make a sound later. Let's talk about putting it together there, okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do is take out your reed. This is a reed case. This is what these are the different reeds. Now I have a case that holds a lot of reeds. And what I do is I do a different one every day. So I'll use this one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then I'll just keep going. That way, it's kind of like tires on a car. You don't wear them out. The main thing that on a reed is we want to keep it moist and wet. So what you do is you take this reed and then you put it in your mouth. Let me show you. You put it in your mouth like that. And you just kind of sit like that and set your clarinet up. You set your clarinet up while this is soaking and getting wet. If it's dry, this thing vibrates hundreds and thousands of times a second. So when it's dry, it has a hard time vibrating. So you want to keep it moist and keep it wet. And then before you put it on, you're going to lick from the back of it. And the sugars in your mouth help it stick to the mouthpiece. And I'll show you guys that in a second. So I'm going to pretend like this is just soaking in my mouth. It's not going to be because I need to talk to you guys. All right, so here's our clarinet. We talked about it. Barrel, lower joint, upper joint. Sorry, bell, lower joint, upper joint, barrel, mouthpiece. The first thing we're going to want to do, and always whenever we put our instrument together, we never want to grab it over the keys like this. We don't want to bend the keys. We always want to keep them safe, because once these holes don't start closing right, then it's not gonna work. The instrument is not gonna work. So what I do is I grab it down here. This is the lower joint. Grab it down here where there's no keys. You can see my thumb and my hand is going like that. And then I grab the barrel, and then what I do is I put it and I twist it on like that. So you can't see any of the cork that was on there. Now I'm picky, and there's a label on here. I don't know if you can see that but I line it up with the label right here, because I'm a little OCD about that. Anyways, and then you take the upper joint. The upper joint I'm going to grab up here where there's no keys. You're going to touch a little bit of keys, but we're trying to avoid as much as possible. So I'm going to grab it, and then the same thing. I'm going to twist and put it on. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not. You guys have two different, like they're called bridge keys. You want to make sure that those are lined up. Sometimes they have lines on them. I don't know if I can get you guys to see that or not. But anyways, you can see right here, it lines up. And then the way you can tell is if I push the lower joint key, the upper joint key closes. And the last part is you're going to take your barrel, same thing, grab down here where there's no keys, and you're going to twist and put it on so it's closed like that. Now for tuning, we might have to pull it out or in, meaning it might have to come out like this far or in. But for right now, when you guys learn, just keep it all the way in. All right, and then we have our mouthpiece finally. I'm going to take the ligature off. Mouthpiece, and you're going to want to make sure that the flat part of the mouthpiece is lined up with the octave key, this key right here. So the flat part faces you. Now, when we put our reed on, let me grab my reed. When we grab our reed, I'm going to lick the back of it because that'll make it stick to the mouthpiece. If we don't do that, then it's just going to fall off. and we need it to stick for just a second. But first, we are going to take our ligature and we're going to put it on the clarinet. Now, when you put the ligature on, there's a bigger end and a smaller end. I don't know if you can see that. This is the smaller end and this is the bigger end right here. We're going to put the bigger end first, and the screw of the clarinet always goes on the right-hand side. The screw always goes on the right-hand side. All right. Sometimes they make ligatures where it's upside down or the screw's on the bottom. The one I have is on where the screw is on top. See that? But we're just going to keep it so the screw is on the right-hand side. So we're going to grab it. So we have our ligature. I'm going to lift the ligature up a little bit, and I'm going to slide this down. I'll make a whole nother video talking about reeds, but for right now, I'm just going to talk about that. Now, the ligature, I'm going to put it just past, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm going to put it just past, how about we try this angle? I'm going to put it just below like the curve of the reed right here. It's called the heart. We're going to put it just past there, and then I'm going to tighten it. And there you go. Now you can take your case and you can put it under your chair right here. And then let's talk about holding the clarinet. So when you hold it, you are going to, your left hand goes on top and your right hand goes on bottom. So your left hand, your thumb is going to go over here on this key. It's called the thumb key. Then your first finger is going to go right here. Then the next hole, then the next hole. And guess what? On your right hand, you just keep going like that. Your pinky rests on the silver keys right here, just rests. And on the right hand, it rests like that too. Okay? So that's how you put your clarinet together. And you do the same thing when you put it away. Make sure you don't grab and bend the keys. And more importantly, the most important thing, make sure you don't chip that reed. That reed is very, very thin, and you won't get any sound out of it. By the way, when you talking about how high or low to put the reed on the mouthpiece, I put it on so that it is, when I push the reed down, you can barely see the tip of the mouthpiece. So it's black a little bit. So that's how high. You don't want it too low, and you don't want it sticking over the mouthpiece. So you want it just like that. Okay? And then you can play. There you go. So I'll send out another video on how to play the clarinet because it's a little bit different. It's kind of similar to saxophone too. But take care. If you have questions, ask me on Remind.